シャットトリガーズ。
よっしゃ、おらおら行くぜ。
ほな行きませ
エスプレイ。
Welcome back to the show, everybody. I'm, of course, the one under the G.O.D, surrounded by the squadron. Yo, Estrade side, baby. I'm flabbergasted. I ain't lying. I'm not sitting up here saying this because, because I love what M2 does. I love a cave shooter. But see, there are some times in life, and I'm going to be legitimately for real. Sometimes when the universe grants you something that you didn't even know that you wanted or needed, even given. And that's what Estrade Psy is that when Estrade was announced for M2 shot triggers, the only thing in my head is, well, yeah, the gods is finna get Estrade on something where everybody can play it. But given what past releases have been, and I sat up here and wondered, like, what is M2 gonna bring to this party? What is it that they can do? Some S-God related mode, some black label version of this game that never existed? But what this is giving us is the one thing I always knew the game needed, but didn't know I wanted until it was presented to me, and that is what is part of Arcade Plus mode. So, we're going to quickly get Big Cuz up in here. We're going to take a look at Get Monster real quick so we can see what's up with Arcade Plus mode, and then we're going to rediscuss it. So, let's get Big Sis up in here. Let's see what's really good. So, Google motherfucking Chrome, where you at, baby? Right there. So, this is Gamasa, a website you may or may not be familiar with. I am in your top right corner. Let's get to work. Estrade Psy launches December 19th in Japan and at Arcade Plus mode. And there's a Arcade Plus mode field set for August 8th to 21st in Akihabara. So maybe if I go take a look at Nico like throwback days, it might be some video or I might get to YouTube sooner or later. But let's take a deeper look into this. The M2 shot triggers release of the cave-developed shoot Estrade is officially titled Estrade Psy and will launch for PlayStation 4 and Switch on December 19th in Japan for 6,800 yen at retail and 4,500 yen via download. A 9,800 yen limited edition will also be available. It includes a copy of the game, a 100-page art book, including new interviews and more, soundtrack, expert stickers, and an instruction card. I'm going to scroll down a little bit so we can just take a look at how beautiful this is, because this is the other question that I have. Given the tweets that I've seen, given what it is that I know, I got to know whether or not if Beat going to have an exclusive, because they had an exclusive for Ketsui, and I had no idea it existed until long after it sold out, and that sucked. And then it was on eBay for like 10 times the price. Well, that's a little facetious. It was like $300-400, and now you can't even find it no more, which sucks. But you can still pick up a copy of like the limited Amazon version of the Ketsui release, and still wondering that what we are like games behind. We still in America ain't seen Mahou Saisuke yet, so it's kind of like, well, fine, whatever. But hey, what it is, what it is. But this thing looks pretty. That's something I want on my shelf. Not only because y'all heard on that episode of a Shmup Game Proper how much I love this game, and it's like, this looks beautiful, like something I would love to have on my shelf. So they got the PS4 and the Switch versions. Now, first print copies of the game will include a Road to Esper, a strategy guide for beginners, Earthquake Psy is a collaborative effort between M2 and original creator Junior Inoue to resurrect the 1998 release arcade shoot 'em up. Not only does it include a complete port of the original, but of the original version, it also adds a new mode, new visuals, and new voiceovers. And this is Aurori, you know what I'm saying? Like, because it's Aurori and we love her because, you know, it's Aurori. Thanks. Anyway, Arcade Plus mode is based on the original Esprit, but features new visuals illustrated by Inoue and new voiceovers. It aims to deliver a richer Esprit that expands upon the worldview. And this is our voice cast. We have Yusuke being voiced by Ketro Inamura, JB Fifth by Akira Hijima, Aurori voiced by Yukari Fujihara, Ms. Gara by Aki Shibata, Satoru Omi voiced by Satoshi Tsunaga, the Alice clone by Rena Koba, and Inoue himself is voicing somebody in the game, so that should be interesting to take a look at. Now, like we talked about earlier, M2 will host a field test for Arcade Plus mode at Hirose Entertainment Yard by Taito in Akihabara, Tokyo from the 8th to the 24th of this month. The location test will run on a Windows substrate version of the game and feature all its M2 gadgets. M2 hopes to gather feedback from players to make the December due home release the best it can be. M2 will also host live stream during the location test window for fans who are able to come play the game themselves. Ooh, that's good to know. Gonna be watching that. Now, on September 7th from what would be 1 o'clock to 6 o'clock Japan Standard Time, M2 will host the free-to-enter Esprit Psy hands-on event at the Hirose Musen building in collaboration with Beep, because we talked about them earlier. We will also have the X68000 and Switch version of the May-announced Cotton Reboot playable, as well as announced new information. Wow, that's sick. I'm going to be looking because I'm like, because we talked about that Cotton Reboot on an episode of Shmup Game proper, so it'd be interesting to finally see some news on that. So I will be watching that with full intent. Please bring it back to me. So, internet, remember that thing that I was excited about? Arcade Plus mode. Because here's the honest truth. Esprit tells a story. It does. The thing is, it tells a story in a rapid-fire nature in between stages where it tells you the minutia, but unless you're actually paying attention to it, it just goes like this, completely over your head. And it's like, I've played Esprit enough to understand the basic story of psychic children being hunted because they have psychic powers and they taking a fight to the man. And I'm not talking about Becky Lynch, but somebody's about to get their ass whooped because, you shouldn't talk about experts. That's just putting it out there. However, let me hit this button real quick because I want to make sure that I'm good. Alright, we good. I'll say this. What Arcade Plus mode is what I would have expected from like an Esprit port back in 98, 99 on the Sega Saturn or the PS1, which probably would have been a system that would have been targeted for a release, but then sit up here and really think about how good that shmups are ported from the arcade to a Sega Saturn or a PS1. So you may get that because, again, the port of a shmup isn't strange to additional story bits. I could name many shooters off the top of my head, but I'm going to leave that for you to research because that's an important thing for you to know, for your noodle. The thing is, this ain't nothing new, but if there is a game that deserves to have its narrative expanded in a way that has no limits, Esprit is that, because there is a lot of story for Yusuke, JB Fifth, and Aurori that is only told in rapid fire succession with news articles between stages and notes of what the world is and its world state in between the next stage where you are shooting down a whole bunch of tanks and people with guns, which is a thing, because that's what Esprit is, if you didn't know that. The thing is, it's good to know that this will be available for people who, especially for first-time players, because see, you don't get to be like me, who has played the game enough to really understand like the minutia of the story and why things are happening, and a little bit that we do have of background information that has been given to us over this game's 20-year existence. But now to have something that's that the story is being fully expanded, that is going to have voice acting, and Inoue is drawing stuff for it, that's the sick thing to do. Because see, This proves this one magical thing that not only that M2 always kills it, but understanding and knowing what things like M2 shot triggers brings to the table for these games that deserve to live on, and a new crystallis of a new emerging of what this can be. And that is all that each one of these games so far has brought to the table. There is no better way to experience Battle Guerrilla. There is no better way to experience Dangon Feveron. There's a lot of people whose first time interaction with Mahou Daisaifuken has been with the M2 shot triggers. You really have to sit up here and you have to consider all this. And Ketsui done been released so many times, it's insane. But what the M2 shot triggers version brings to the table is something that you can't get anywhere else. And I really think that having those things, and we've talked about Ketsui in past episodes of Shmup Game Proper, so I won't talk about the differences here, but go watch that episode of Shmup Game Proper so that you know the differences of what Ketsui is versus what has been brought to it in the M2 shot triggers and what happened in between with the PS3 and 360 versions. You know what I'm saying? So, give you some homework to do. I am over the moon at the new edition of this Arcade Plus motive. I haven't stressed that enough, because I am. This is just, again, and just because I'm going to say it because it bears repeating, M2 the Goth, and they continue to deliver this work. Now, I will say this. I did some reading. I heard what the streets are thinking. Like, people straight up are like, yo, this getting a little K-focused. Like, yo, where the Bad Rider? It's like, well, you know what? That's me. Where the Bad Rider at? I'm like, because the only reason why we have an Esprit side was because the street spoke, and the one thing that they wanted was a way to play Esprit. Because I will say this for the, I don't know how many times I've said this on this channel over the years, how not having Esprit on Xbox Live Arcade was like one of the biggest giant missed opportunities in history. Probably just in that same wavelength of Alien vs. Predator, which you thought would have been released on something. We just now got a port for the first time officially of Battle Circuit, so the world works in mysterious ways. But you know what I'm saying? It's like people, the streets want back rage. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I don't blame you. It's a whole bunch of schmucks that need this treatment and this love, but these things take time. That there are a lot of things that go on behind the scenes, and I learned that through that On My Life and Gaming documentary about the process of how these things work. Because I could probably tell you, like, M2 probably got a whole bunch of games working, but getting the rights and trying to finagle all that stuff, you do what you can. It'll be interesting that given what Esprit Psy is, and knowing that this is another dimension of what is being brought to the table. And again, like I said earlier, not every expansion of an M2 shot trigger has to be some weird black label thing or some remix that they thought of. This is something that shows that the dimensions continue, and this Arcade Plus mode is something that is going to bring a real experience and be worth it. Just as every other release of the M2 Shot Trigger series has had something in it that has made it the version to own. This is the first time most people gonna be able to own a copy of something that they don't have to have an arcade board for. It is a beautiful day in the neighborhood indeed. The gods are delivering. I cannot wait. I am going to be keeping up with all of this, and if it is a beat version, I know what to do this time. I know where to look and who to look at and how, because if it's something extremely special for this, I gotta have it, because I'm loving it, baby. Regardless of that, though, put this on your calendars, December the 19th. So if you need that digital version 4500, you know what I'm saying? Like if you need a physical copy of 68 and the big old super version 9800 yen, so get your Japanese fun bucks ready, because it's about to go down. Regardless of that, we have got plenty of more show for you. If you made it to the end of this, I have to remind you who it is that I am. I am, of course, the one and the only, the triple, the G.O.D, aka Mr. CRACKCOCINE, hashtag entertainment's #1 dope man, and yeah, indeed, I am the baddest monster in existence. Right behind me, as always, that always got my back. That's Switch Murder and the crew, a.k.a. the congregation. Bessie, Johnny, Magdalene holding down the unos, those thraces and quattros to bring this heat to the most important part of this video, you. Thank you for coming through. And now that you're here, there are things that you can press. There's a subscribe button if you ain't pressed that yet. There's a bell that lets you know that when I'm putting out this work, there are links to my social media and links to support this channel and what it is that we do with monetary cash money value, if that is so what you want to do. And speaking of things that you can do, please sit back, relax, and stay tuned. Look, we have got plenty of more show. I am so happy for Espre Psy. You don't know. It's like, it feels good. Like, it feels good to know that I'm going to be able to see a game that I love from a new dimension through 3 separate eyes, because that's kind of the important thing about Espre, is that you see the game through UK, through JB5th, and Aurore's eyes, and now that that's going to be expanded in a way that has never been seen before, that's nuts to think about. So if you wasn't on the fence before, get Espre Psy your system. Go play some Espre while you're at it. So, you know what I'm saying? So that you know what you're getting into. So I'm like, yo, helping you be a better you, man. Get something new in your veins, baby. Look, like I told you, sit back, relax, and stay tuned. You know who I am. You know who flanking me. You know who you bringing this word to. Bang! More show for all of you. And I mean all of y'all. More show for you. I'm just gonna milk this. Just allow me to for a second, right? We've got more show for you. What? I was singing Little Bunny Fufu in my head. Sue me. Seriously, y'all. More show for all of y'all. Bang! Right after these commercial messages. Ooh, baby, this is gonna be a good day. Well, like I said, more show for all of you. Right after these commercial messages.